Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the World Championship 2015 in Kyoto, Japan. My name is Matthew Bell, and joining me here is Jerome. Hey, Jerome. We're here for the final match. This is it.
I am pumped up. This is actually a historic match in terms of just World Championship lore in general. Galileo Diabaldo has already won a World Championship, and he came in third, I believe, in the World Championship the next year. And now he has the chance to become the first two-time World Champion ever. On the other hand, Shunsuke Hiyama has now been to 2 consecutive World Championships. He made second place last year, and now he's in a position where he might wind up getting second place again.
So both these players have played on this final stage before, so they both have this experience behind them. It's a very close one to call.
Now, if Hiyama wins and gets invited back next year, that'd be 3 World Championships in a row, and I don't think anybody's ever done that.
Not 3 in a row.
This is Galley's third, of course.
There's quite a few people that have made 2 appearances in a row, like Bill McCavett made 2 in a row.
No, anybody who won.
Yeah,
made
true. Actually,
2 in a row. Ito Marcus made 2, but they were almost a decade apart.
Yes, his first one,
fascinating.
2005, I believe, he said.
But now, years and years after the institution of the World Championship, I believe that this is the 12th, 13th? It's been going since 2003. This is the first time that there could be a 2-time World Champion. It'll be exciting to see if it happens.
Right, we'll head to the table where the guys are shuffling up in the dark, it would seem. The match will be getting started soon. For those of you who've not been keeping up, we've got a Necros versus Tellarknight for the grand final.
Yes, Galileo's Necros deck, I call it the post-side Necros deck, because he's main decking all the cards that you normally think of seeing in the side deck. He's got the Fire Hands and Ice Hands, he's got the Royal Decrees, he's got all 3 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbits in his main deck. Just a pile of different cards that you would normally find in a side deck, but given the very specific nature of the format that they're playing in, they suddenly become good main deck cards. A lot of them are very good against Tellarknights.
And it catches people off guard because you just don't expect to see this stuff all in the main deck as well, especially if you've gone prepared coming into this event, expecting to see one thing, and then all of a sudden the guy shows up with all the answers to your cards. It's smart moves by Galileo, and it's brought him all the way here.
Yeah, it was actually a very big chance. If people had actually shown up in force with a lot of the Cliffort decks and the other really fast decks, there's a very good chance he could have gotten blown out of the water before getting a chance to establish his field. That's part of why you have the Fire and Ice Hands, to try to prevent things like that from happening. But it has paid off very well so far. He's run into a lot of Tellarknights, and the Royal Decrees have been putting in a lot of work, as we saw earlier today. Chase Cunningham, Tellarknight player, fell victim to the Decrees both against Galileo and in his third place match against Akira Hasegawa. So it's a definite worry for Shunsuke Hiyama that he might face the same adversity in this match. Now, he does main deck 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. That would help him get rid of it. So theoretically, it's even odds as to who draws a Decree or who draws a Mystical Space Typhoon. But Galileo has the extra draw acceleration of Necros of Valkyries to help him get to it, like we saw in Akira's match against Chase.
So we're just waiting to see who will be going first in this game.
Shunsuke has a lot of monster effect negation. He's got the 3 Fiendish Chains and the Stellar Nova Alphas and Breakthrough skill.
Turn 1, Thunder King Ryo pass.
He also has Thunder King Ryo, and that is like poison to Galileo's deck. Now, if he had a Fire Hand, that'd be pretty darn good.
Doesn't seem so.
Runs a 3-2 split of Ice Hand to Fire Hand. Sets 3 cards face down.
And passes.
Satellarknight Unukalai joins Thunder King this time around. Torrential Tribute is the one non-Royal Decree trap in Galileo's deck, and he's got it. Shunsuke's highly aggressive play is met with a wipe. And that unlocks Galileo's search cards.
He has turned on the Altairs that he'll be drawing for this, and that he's got the DNAB in the graveyard as well.
And now what Shunsuke needs is a little bit of defense. We'll see if he's allowed to play any. Oh, Soul Charge. Shinsuke Hiyama Soul Charges for 3. That'll drop him to 5,000, but now he knows that Torrential is gone. That's going to get him a Deneb effect. He's already used Unalkalai, so he won't get that. But most importantly, it puts Thunder King back on the field. He'll have to skip his battle phase this time. Tries to activate Unalkalai again, but cannot. He can, however, activate Deneb.
Thunder King Roy stops either player searching.
No, he cannot activate Deneb. That's right.
But having that Thunder King is more important than the search here.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, like, Thunder King is so one-sided so often that you almost forget that it stops you from playing too.
Yeah, you know. Here we go.
Tellarknight Ptolemaeus comes down. That's going to be a pain. On Galileo's side.
What other acts has Galileo got? Do you think he's... Well, he's used the Torrential Tribute. So he's got Book of Moon, which could actually get him out of this.
He'd have to... he could always summon one of his smaller non-ritual Necros effect monsters. He plays Great Sorcerer. I think Great Sorcerer is big enough. And he's Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit takes out the Ptolemaeus in the end phase. I can't remember the attack of Great Sorcerer offhand.
1500.
So Great Sorcerer and Decisive Armor would do it. Also, just a ritual summon. If he happens to have the cards to make one in his hand, he can get past the Thunder King that way. And, of course, there's... Ice Hand would be incredibly good right now. You would Ice Hand away the face-down card, and then Fire Hand away the Thunder King.
Yeah, and then get the last hand to get through direct attack. Royal Decree.
Of course, he has the Royal Decree in the end phase. That's going to keep that card locked down for Shinsuke.
And there's that Ice Hand.
And he has Ice Hand. Ice Hand attacks.
And
he activates Mystical Space Typhoon in response. Oh, brutal. Absolutely brutal. In response to the attack, that means that Royal Decree goes down. There's no target for Ice Hand, so the effect cannot be activated at all. In case you're wondering how Ice Hand and Fire Hand work, they need to target something, destroy it, and then you special summon the monster. The other hand. With no target, can't activate at all.
Losing your normal summon into that and your Royal Decree is horrendous.
See what Galileo gets up to next. Thunder King still locking down all searches. Shinsuke decides to press for damage now that he knows that the Torrential is gone.
That's quite cheeky. He's revealing that information, and he does have the Light Monster as well for the Honest, so he can just bounce the Honest back to his hand, and he's just shown his opponent. That Thunder King Ryo is probably not going down in battle.
Returns Honest to his hand. A lot of people forget Honest has that ability. That makes it particularly good if you're running a large suite of Call of the Haunted and Oases, as Shinsuke is. And
it guarantees that you win any battle that you're involving yourself in, especially when you've got key monsters like this Thunder King Ryo to keep in play.
Galileo takes plenty of time to think about it. Checks the number of cards in hand. Shinsuke's got 3 and a Thunder King.
Fire Hand.
Summons Fire Hand. That'll help.
And that'll even out the Honest in hand. So there's only 2 bits of unknown information in Shinsuke's hand.
Does not activate the Honest. Damage isn't quite that important. And Fire Hand destroys Thunder King. Then Galileo summons Ice Hand.
Galileo might have been able to get himself out of the corner and put together a string of plays here.
He's only got 2 other cards in his hand, so I'm wondering how much of a Necros strategy he can actually play with those.
That's true. He hasn't actually got a mirror off yet, has he? So he's got no way...
Yeah, there are no ritual spells. We haven't seen any ritual monsters or their effects. Those last 2 cards are indeed a mystery.
How many copies of Ice Hand is he playing? 3 copies of Ice Hand.
3 ice, 2 fire. So he should have one ice hand left, unless it's in his hand.
There's a second one.
Here's the ice. Oh, sorry, I had that backwards again. He should have 2 left in the deck. Now 1. Unless they were both of the cards in his hand, which would be really unfortunate.
Yeah, that would have been really bad.
Galileo gets another 1,400 points in, courtesy of Ice Hand, and then sets another card. Those could be ritual spells.
He's trying to get the... Well, it's just trying to push the opponent off base. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Shinsuke knows exactly what...
Yeah, which traps he runs. I don't know that he's going to fall for that as a bluff.
Yeah, if you come into a YCS and you've sort of seen this so far, you would assume you're playing some weird kind of anti-meta deck.
Yeah, somebody actually brought the Hands, Artifacts, and Trap Tricks deck to this tournament.
Oh, really?
Yes, but he was unsuccessful in making it to day 2. Oh, let me see if I can find who that is while Shinsuke takes a look through his graveyard. Shinsuke takes another look in there. He's already played his Soul Charge, so there's no mass revival left. I just passed by Jorg's Harpy deck again, and it's still awesome.
Oh, fair play to the guy for coming this way and saying, yeah, this is a deck.
That's so cool. Shinsuke sets a monster face down and passes over to Galileo.
He also puts a spell trap down, which is a viable target for that Ice Hand, should it end up getting destroyed.
I think he's trying to see if Galileo has another Royal Decree. That might not even be a trap.
Might be another Mystical
It could
Space
be another Mystical Space Typhoon. Ah, it was Jack Seth Lupk
from Australia.
from Australia, I believe. Possibly New Zealand. No, he's Australia. So he brought Hands, Artifacts, and Trap Tricks. Didn't get to see it on stream, but it's an interesting choice. He even played Caduceus, which was one of Shinsuke's big cards from last year. Galileo carefully considering his plays here before flipping Royal Decree. So he had 2 Royal Decrees. Shinsuke is getting a lot more monsters than previous opponents did. So it seems that the Decrees aren't doing quite as much damage as they possibly could. Preparation of Rites is activated next.
Gotta finally see the first Necros monster.
Yep. Unfortunately for Galileo, he's not going to get the full power of Preparation of Rites out. He won't be able to get a ritual spell back from the graveyard. But he has access to essentially every Necros monster because he can get the 1 Necros of Brionac.
Yeah, in this situation where your deck hasn't got started and you're already sort of progressing into the mid stages of the game, you can't worry about the little extra pickups that you could have gotten off of Preparation Rites. And we are going to see Clauseless being discarded.
Grabs Unicorn, discards Clauseless, and this is really where the hands are extremely valuable because they muck up the field in addition to clearing out your opponent's cards. Kaleidoscope is the choice, and he activates it and sends Herald of the Arclight to the graveyard. Unicorn hits the field, and now Arclight's effect activates as well for another search. With Thunder King gone, Galileo's hand is way better. He goes and gets Necros of Brionac and discards that as well. To get Necros of Trishula. I believe he does not have anything else in hand. Is that everything? Or has he got something else hidden back there that we don't see?
As far as I can tell, he had 2 cards. One of them was Clauseless. He got Preparation Rites to draw for the turn. So he's all in. Well, almost all in. He has a Trishula in hand.
Unicorn is really instrumental here because one of Shinsuke's best outs to something. Oh, as this flips the set mirror, he's got Clouseless and Brianak in the graveyard. That means that Trishula is here right now.
Also lethal, I believe. Because he's going to take the defense mode monster out. The Dino from the graveyard. There's Honest in hand. He doesn't particularly care about that at this stage.
Not with the defense monster. And he's deciding what he wants to take.
Well, you've got that decree. It's a very strong possibility that that's locking down.
Yeah, it's locking down the face down. I don't know that Shinsuke has any spells that'll stop anything. In fact, he doesn't. There's no Book of Moon even. So the monster is definitely the choice. Galileo takes it.
It's Honest that was set.
It's the Honest. And there's actually just nothing Shinsuke can do. Battle. Ice Hand attacks. Unicorn attacks. Trishula attacks. And Galileo takes game 1.
Shinsuke made him work for it, but Galileo definitely fighting back from hitting none of his Necro strategies, going through that Thunder King coming back twice, and managing to take the game down. Really showing the power of the creative deck that Galileo has put together for this event.
Yes, the power of the hands were instrumental in all this. Without those, he wouldn't have even been able to play this game, let alone win it.
Had he just played the flat traditional Necro strategy right there, that would have been it. He would have just never gotten a foot in the door. But this way, by playing his deck this way, and things like the Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit giving him additional outs to the Polonidas.
The Ptolemaeus. I actually really liked that.
Galileo showing that he really knew how he's built his deck, and he is 100% doing well with this. So we'll see what these guys are going to side deck.
That's a very neat deck concept. All right, so on Galileo's side, he has Denko Sekka, which is obviously extremely good in this matchup.
Yep.
And Effect Veiler, also very good here. Dark Hole, perhaps. Forbidden Chalice, perhaps, if he feels that he needs a whole lot of monster effect negation, but I think the Veilers are more of a priority there.
Yeah, he interestingly chose to take 3 Forbidden Chalice and 2 Effect Veiler for this. That's a huge amount of negation. And
That's a lot of negation, yeah.
Which deck is he priming that for? Either Statella Knights or Ritual Beasts, right?
Well, that's the thing. Ritual Beasts, monster effect negation isn't super great against them.
Bit subpar.
Yeah, because if you, let's say you even, your best case scenario really is they go Elder, Canahawk, and you negate the Canahawk so they at least can't banish something else. Because you can't really do anything to Ulti Canahawk. If they summon Ulti Canahawk and activate its first effect, even if you try to negate it with something like an Effect Veiler or a Forbidden Chalice, they can just chain and banish that monster as a cost to use its summoning effect. So that's why you would think there would be a switch from monster effect negation to monster removal. But if you are worried that there might be a lot of decks that sneak in because they use a lot of monster effects and try to take advantage of that trend, then you're going to want to have some kind of monster effect negation in your side deck. But what if you're wrong? If you're playing nothing but effect veilers and breakthrough skills and the like, and you're wrong in your call, those cards aren't going to be very useful to you. Forbidden Chalice, at absolute worst, is an attack buff that you can play from your hand during your own turn, even during the damage step. That's why I think it's a really good call.
Very, very powerful damage step, being able to use stuff in damage step where pretty much every other card is locked out.
It's also got a third Mystical Space Typhoon, if he wants it.
Yeah, you could bring that in. I guess this would be the deck that he would do it in if he was going to.
This or Clifford's. One of the two.
Sure.
Yeah, I actually really like the way he's got all of this set up. Meanwhile, on Shinsuke's side, let's see what he's got going on over here. Shinsuke has Imperial Iron Wall. So the biggest challenge Shinsuke is going to face is that a lot of his side deck cards are traps. Imperial Iron Wall, Fairy Wind, not useful here. But he's also got a Fire Hand and Ice Hand of his own, which could theoretically help because Galileo's... he's actually, unlike most Necros decks, going to have a trap on the field a lot of the time, and it's Royal Decree. So it's actually double good here. He's playing the same 3-2 split that Galileo does, just in his side deck where you normally think you'd find hands. He's also got 3 Ghost Ogres of his own in his side deck, but I don't think they do him as much good as they do Galileo. Though, Galileo does have access to Ptolemaeus and other things of his own, so we'll see if Shinsuke finds that particularly valuable. Artifact Lancia. He also has 1 copy of that. I would definitely expect that in. That is a very traditional card to put in against Necros. But that's about it. I think the maybe hands and the walls and Lancia are the best you're going to get if you're Shinsuke Hiyama.
Well, we'll see how post-siding goes. I believe the turn order is going to be... Shinsuke will probably force Galileo to go first to start with the...
Start with fewer cards, less chances to get Decree.
Yeah, I mean, making Necros go first, it puts them in... Most Necros decks sort of have that awkward start where they don't really have a good play, where they can leave something in play. But Galeo's actually can. That's the weirdest part about making him go first. His deck is actually kind of prepared for that.
Yes, because he's got the hands main decked.
Oh, as it came up earlier, we don't actually have a way of contacting the judges from this room. We're actually in a different building to make sure that we can talk about the match without interfering with the players. So if we see something, well, we may say it. We are unfortunately unable to interact with the game. We're just here for your entertainment and to cast.
Shinsuke Hiyama. Everybody is sided up. They are ready to go. And it appears that he has indeed forced Galileo to go first. Galileo does nothing. And Shinsuke Hiyama gets to his 6th card without consequence.
Draw pass.
So, interesting thing, last time around, when Shinsuke Hiyama was forced to go first in Game 2 of the finals, actually no, I believe he chose to go first because he's playing against Infernity. He set 1 card, and that was the last card he played for the entire tournament, as he was defeated on his opponent's first turn.
Wow.
It was a Mystical Space Typhoon, 8,000.
That's crazy. Just draw pass. I mean, drawing your opening hand in passing. The last time I saw people comfortably doing that was back when people were heavily playing Gore as Emissary of Darkness. Not made an appearance in this tournament.
Galileo can absolutely do this safely because Teller Knights, as they're being played here, are a very heavy trap deck. They aren't playing the aggressive route with lots of special summoning. There is absolutely no danger to Galileo of being wiped out in one shot.
And Shinsuke has no Teller Knights that he wants to commit, so he could be holding Vegas or Altairs, but not have any sort of play he can make off of it. He didn't elect to go with a D-Nub or an Unicolai, so...
Galileo again passes.
I think his hand is he's full of bricks, because you see the way he's put his hand in front of him, and he's just drawing, looking at the card and putting it face down on the top. He's not looking for his hand. He knows that hand's unplayable until he hits something.
I don't know that it's necessarily unplayable. This is the point where he's going to have to start discarding unless he plays something.
So he's going to have to commit something, even if it's just face down spells or traps.
Yeah, unless he just wants to discard something. I don't know that Galileo's hand is as bad as he's making it look. I think he might be trying to trick Shinsuke into doing something silly and getting ravaged by hands. Galileo sets 1 card face down. And Shinsuke is taking his time thinking before summoning his Teller Knight Vega.
Vega, no effect.
It seems Shinsuke only has 1 monster, or at least 1 monster that he's willing to commit. So the thing with Vega is that the hand can't be crashed into it. It's smaller than Ice Hand.
I don't know, if just... Arky's going for the Sky Bridge.
He is playing some number of Sky Bridges, I think 3. Yeah, the full 3 Sky Bridges.
Can only summon talent monsters during the turn he activates the card. I'll pull this one up for you in case you haven't seen it this weekend.
Gonna use that.
Unicolor high most likely to then send the D-Nub, or do you think he goes straight for the D-Nub here?
If he has a call or something down, then I would go with the Unicolai. I think what Shinsuke is going to try to do is just pile on a ton of damage right now, and then wall up in defense with that Ptolemaeus again. So as long as the monster summoned from this is face up on the field, only Tellarknights can be special summoned. And the way this works is you summon, and if you do, shuffle the targeted monster back into the deck.
He's summoned in defense mode.
Okay, so that says to me that he also thinks that Galileo has hands in his hand.
Sure, and he doesn't want to get crashed.
Right. Also, as long as he has that Deneb on the field, Stellar Nova Alpha is live. Sets 2 more cards. Those 2 on the left are the ones that were just set. And Galileo is up. Now faced with 5 cards, face down. Deneb's defense. What is Deneb's defense? I think it's 1,000.
Yeah.
The tricky situation. Galileo sets some more cards face down, 2 of them. And it seems like that might be all he does. Unokalai is summoned up next, and he activates the effect.
Perhaps Gallia going to try and resolve a big royal decree at the end of this.
Something like Decree Chain Torrential.
Yeah, that could be one option. It's very likely that there's a Telenova Alpha for Shinsuke.
I don't think you get 5 cards face down like that unless you have it.
Yeah, in the most likely case. It could have hit some of his side deck cards, I believe.
Oh, the Iron Walls?
Yeah. This will be the second game in a row that Galileo hasn't seen a Necros monster in a while.
I mean, the first game he had the Necros monsters, he just couldn't use them because of Thunder King.
Yeah.
Vega is sent to the graveyard. And now Shinsuke decides to go on the offensive. Deneb attacks successfully. That drops Galileo to 53. Unokalai will put him at 35. And now Shinsuke has an opportunity to maybe finish things off if he's got like Call of the Haunted and a monster in hand.
Yeah, but I'd bring him 1,200 plus whatever's in his hand, potential cowboy shots.
There's the call. Targets Vega. Does Galileo have the decree?
He has to use it now.
Better use it now.
Tells him it's fine. Nope.
He does not. He checks the number of cards in his hand.
Mystical Space.
Flits Mystical Space Typhoon on call. Good enough.
Do you Telenova Alpha that? I suppose if you're projecting...
I don't. I think you save it for Decree. I personally think Galileo also has Decree.
That's Imperial Iron Wall I just saw there, and there's a Telenova Alpha.
He flips Oasis. That'll bring Vega back in defense, so he would still be able to summon back a monster from his hand this way. And he does for Unokalai. And this time there's Torrential.
And that's where you Telenova Alpha.
Yeah, now you have to Alpha it. He sends Deneb to draw a card. Off goes to the graveyard, and we're still in the battle phase. $1,800 more puts Galileo down to 1,700. And now I don't think the decree helps, even if he does have it, because that's 3 level 4 Teller Knights.
And a face-up Oasis, so we could see Trivia coming out.
Because this could get stuck in a bit of a loop where Galileo has to keep setting the decree, but then can't use it. All 3 monsters are combined for Teller Knight Triver. Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit could destroy it, but I don't know that that's the best plan. Ah, it's Book of Moon.
Okay, that's going to protect the
Activate
card
it to flip it face down.
in his hand.
Book of Moon. Interesting. Yeah, I think Galileo played that exactly right. Everything else is back set for Hiyama, though, and Galileo still has a very tough road ahead.
One of those cards is Imperial Iron Walls, so that we're not going to see a Trishula.
Unless Galileo's got another Mystical Space Typhoon.
Could do, but he only has like 3 cards in hand, so he'd have to have a Ritual Spell, the Trishula, and a way to... well, and the Mystical Space Typhoon. Oh, and a way to actually summon the Trishula.
Galileo deep in thought as he considers the face-down Triver with 3 set spell or traps. You have to send a face-up Teller Knight to the graveyard for Stellar Nova Alpha, so even if there is another one there, it's not live unless the Oasis gets flipped, which was just brought back to hand. Shinsuke has not flipped the Oasis.
Which kind of sends a message that he doesn't have it. Or he's trying to save it to get the value from the Denom.
Because all 3 cards are still beneath Triver.
Kaleidoscope.
Necros Kaleidoscope is activated. He says, okay. Or Shinsuke says, okay. And Flame Ghost is sent to the graveyard for Necros of Clausulus in defense position. 2300 defense. Big enough to wall off Triver. Now, even if he did flip the Oasis, we just saw he has another Deneb in the graveyard, so you could still get plenty of mileage out of it.
Yeah.
Normal summon Denko Sekka.
Oh, wow.
That'll lock everything down.
But then he still has to get through that really big defense monster. Pass.
Says go. Interesting. I wonder if he misunderstands how Clausulus works. So flipping that Triver face down sets it to no longer having been special summoned from the extra deck. So Clausulus' effect is currently powerless against it.
Which means he's going to lose whatever's left in his hand and his Denko Sekka.
Question is, do either player know this? It actually came up in the Dragon Duel finals at the North American WCQ, and neither duelist noticed it then. The reason this comes up most of the time is, say, Book of Moon is chained to Shadow Fusion.
Yeah, that's one we've seen cast quite a lot.
That is generally when this interaction comes up. Flips up Triver.
Gonna loot a card out of Galileo's hand.
Activates the effect.
I see 2 cards in Galileo's hand right now.
And Galileo appears to be discussing something with the table judge. He's not currently engaged with his cards. So there is a discussion happening right now. Driver has been activated. And now Galileo picks his hand back up and activates Effect Veiler.
Well, he was going to lose a card anyway, so why not?
Now he's also going to lose the Denko Sekka. Shinsuke needs to remember he cannot flip any of those.
Shinsuke's aware that, yep, and no, that was never his plan to use the full source here.
He's thinking about, if he activates Honest, I think that's the end.
If he has Honest, right.
21 over 17
There
is
it
4
is.
to begin with, and Honest ends the game.
Shinsuke evening it out, 1-1. We are going to the final game of the 2015 World Championships.
Very interesting game, that one.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Galileo just never got into that game. He didn't hit any of his monsters until late. He drew a lot of his mishmashy side deck cards that would stop the Shinsuke strategy from starting, but it only really would make a difference if he was able to establish some kind of field presence in that.
Yeah.
Like, those cards they had, like Effect Veiler and stuff, would have been great had he been able to apply any kind of pressure.
So, I don't know that we're going to see a whole lot of other side decking. Galileo looks like he likes the way his deck is configured right now. Shinsuke wants to make a couple more changes, likely in anticipation of going first in this last one. Yes, Galileo definitely seems to be satisfied with his choices. He says, I'm ready to go. Hurry up now.
He is giving away information on how many cards he's siding there by just counting them out so comfortably in front of him.
Not necessarily. He could say count out 8 cards, put them into his deck, and then take 8 cards back out. But how many of the 8 cards taken out are some of the 8 cards that were put in?
So yeah, he could be using some kind of, I believe it was referred to as smoke screening technique many years ago when people used to shuffle their whole side deck.
Yeah,
and
the
take 15
official,
cards
the
out.
the original smoke screen was shuffle all 15 in, then just take 15 out. In this case, it could be a similar thing. Shinsuke's game seems to be very much mental. We saw that yesterday as well in his match against Ito Marcus, trying to do everything in his power to convince Ito that maybe he doesn't actually want to win. But it was unsuccessful there. We'll see if he has a better time at it this time.
That was really interesting, the way he was playing that one, because you could just see how Ito was slamming his monsters across the table, like the man of steel himself, fearing nothing, playing his hero deck, of course, and he was never going to hold the attack back.
Yeah,
So
the
I don't
mind
know what
games
kind
don't.
of-
The mind games don't work if the other guy's not paying attention.
Yeah, the other guy's like, he doesn't care. He knows what he's going for right
Nope.
now.
Tomato, kinetic, get in there. And now Shinsuke is ready and shuffling up.
I suppose you want to make sure that all your decisions are final. This is the
Final game.
Final
of the
match.
finals.
Yeah, it's like this is all the WCQ season, every regional, every national championship, everything you've played in leads to this one last game. This is the final destination for everyone.
I'll tell you what, there's absolutely no way that Shinsuke just sided 8 cards. There's no way.
No, if you just
Absolutely
look at what options he had and realize there was no way, he's playing the mental game again. I don't think. I don't know if he's trying to influence the match there, because Galio, he's not changed his mind about siding. He didn't pick up his deck at any point. He presented his deck. He was ready to go, regardless of what decision Shinsuke was going to make.
And that's probably why you see so much extra shuffling going on. Like, nobody wants to have any regrets after this one.
No, if I'm losing this match, I want to be 100% sure it was fair and square.
And the final cut by the judges. 2 separate sets of arms there.
Best of luck to you guys.
And Gallo says, you go first. As expected.
I saw some blue in Galeo's hand. I saw Clausulus at least.
Shinsuke takes a long, hard look at his 5 and starts with Vega. Just Vega.
Is that really? Someone... Okay, he's just trying to see if there's a response.
Oh, see if there's
He's
effect
activating
failure, okay. Vega into Deneb. Deneb. Also activating. This one gets Veilered.
Let's put to... Oh, Skybridge.
Skybridge in a chain. Oh.
That is
That could be
good.
nasty.
That is so good to force Galio to give up that effect negation for nothing.
Yeah, so he could get the Unokalai, send the Deneb back, but also send the Deneb to the graveyard, but also add an Altair with Deneb.
And he's still going to get the rank 4 that he was going to go for anyway.
And Unokalai is summoned in defense position. He's still wary of those hands.
I don't think it matters. He's going to commit to
The Ptolemaeus?
Ptolemaeus. Yes.
Well, even if you are going to commit to it later, you don't want to just flat out show that that's what you're going to do.
By leaving this monster in attack mode.
Right. Yep. The bigger one in defense, the smaller one in attack. Making sure that you're always playing around the cards you know that are in your opponent's deck, even if you don't necessarily need to.
Yeah, I guess the main thing there is just sort of things become habit, so you don't have to think about them to sort of take off some of the mental strain of playing in these high-level tournaments.
Ptolemaeus is summoned, 2 cards set, goes to the end phase and activates, and this time it is going to get another material. It's one of the copies of Triver. I believe Shinsuke has 2. 2 Triver, 2 Ptolemaeus. Galileo's up, drawing to 5 instead of 6. Having used Veiler on his opponent's turn. Starts with Senju of the 1,000 Hands.
That's going to go through, it seems. Normally a prime Phoenix Chain target.
Yep, if it's there. Makes a quick check of his Ptolemaeus. He's got Pleiades in his extra deck. He's actually also running Consular Ptolemy M7
Oh, really?
as
Okay.
well. So he's really heavy into the Ptolemaeus here.
Yeah, it seems to have been the most popular Tellarknight turn 1 play this tournament.
It's a popular turn 1 Necros play in this tournament too, as we've seen numerous times.
Yeah, and that's something quite interesting. We didn't see a lot of that at the WCQ in Dublin. I don't know, I can't speak for North American WCQ, but
We didn't. We saw almost nobody
this
actually play their Ptolemaeus, but they all played it.
they
in
all
their
knew it
extra
was
deck.
good and was
Yeah.
playing it, but they didn't ever use it. This seems to have been like the centerpiece of many, many turn 1s that we've seen in this tournament. I wonder how the results of this tournament affect people using this card, if we're going to start seeing this a lot more. I mean, it's so powerful being able to go from rank 4 to any rank 5.
Presumably not at all, since this is a very specialized format specifically for these top-level players. A lot of the things you see here might not apply to your own game back home, but some of them you can take back, like the Gishki chain in Necros. There are a lot of lessons you can take from here, but the actual value of each card, how useful each one is in each situation, isn't consistent across.
Yeah, for example, you've got to consider this format was pretty much devoid of shadows.
Right. Like you would never leave this out on turn 1 against shadows.
Oh, that makes turn 1 fusion pretty good.
Right. So you have that, and if you have El Shadal fusion, doesn't matter if they have Pleiades, you're just going to get that one too. You got Senju. Galileo
A while to
checks his hand here.
resolve this search. That was a very
It's an awful long time.
long time. I'm wondering if there was some sort of communication with the judge there.
It's possible. He is still searching for that Senju. Oh, I see. There was an extra deck card shuffled back into the main deck. If you recall, the Flame Ghost
Yes, from the first game.
sent for Necros Kaleidoscope last time around.
Yeah, that's true. I believe the penalty for that is warning, and you put the card back in the extra deck.
Yep. Put it back in your extra deck. I actually don't know that if it's a penalty if you find it during a search. I know it is if you draw an extra deck monster, you take a warning, put it back, draw another card. I don't think I've actually seen a case where you find it during a search.
I imagine that's what Suzuki is inquiring about here.
It's definitely not anything serious. At this level, it might even just be a caution. Caution is a penalty that doesn't really exist outside of this event, but it's kind of a half warning.
It's mostly to compensate for the huge amount of language barriers.
Yeah,
you
there's
have
a lot of things that can just happen because you don't speak the same language as your opponent. So you need a lighter penalty just to keep track.
Even the mannerisms of the players are different. For example, you see a lot of people hovering their cards before they put them on the table, so you know when the window your opponent expects you to use Solemn Warning is.
Yes.
To the point of where they're expecting the window for Bottomless Trap Hole. Things that you don't really see in the TCG, but you do see on the OCG side. So this is another reason why the caution penalty is used here.
Actually, I think everybody should do the
Yeah, I really like that.
that thing. 'Cause actually, we were discussing this in the meetings the day before with all the players, and everybody just kind of decided on, this is the way we're going to do it to make absolutely certain that everybody knows. So yeah, if you want to take something back to your YCSs and the like, that's a good thing to take back. Just communication things in general.
Yeah, and I mean that's particularly useful in Europe when you've got so many different languages as well that you could be playing against. Not everybody speaks English, and sometimes you just need to have those extra steps to just make sure that you're all on the same page. Otherwise, people can get quite upset if they feel like they're missing something because of the language barrier. It's a bit of a lengthy judge call here.
Well, you have to do a proper investigation on a lot of these things. It's basically not going to happen at the World Championship, but sometimes, in smaller tournaments, regionals and the like, you get a situation where somebody notices a deck error as they're shuffling, but decides not to say anything about it.
Which, yeah.
Until it would warrant a greater penalty. For example, 39 cards in deck.
Right, when they pass off your deck out and count it.
Yes.
They know that the problem is there, and they're trying to keep that as an extra life in the match, which is massively against the rules.
Which is incredibly against the rules.
Like, you absolutely shouldn't be doing that.
But yeah, that's not happening here, I don't believe.
No. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, and the Unicorn's added.
Unicorn added in hand, everything's sorted out. Clouseless discarded. For Kaleidoscope.
With it paired with a nice Unicorn in hand. So we are going to be seeing the Necros plays going off this game from Galileo.
Be interesting to see if Shinsuke responds to this Kaleidoscope. Unicorn is very good against Ptolemaeus here. It would negate the effect as it is from the extra deck. But it's not big enough to beat Ptolemaeus without the help of, say, a decisive armor.
Yep.
Looks like Scope is going to go through. Herald is sent. And Necros of Unicorn summoned. So still no actual danger to the Ptolemaeus. It's just not super useful right now, other than as a big wall. Galileo gets another search.
Bronic.
Grabs the Brionic. Discards that as well for another search. This time he gets the Shuret.
We might be seeing a Trish play.
Not entirely certain how many cards he has in hand right now, but probably a lot.
Well,
I don't think any of these plays have been at a loss.
Ooh, Cycle. That's...
Cycle for Brionic would be pretty good.
Yeah, that's what he's going for.
That can shuffle Ptolemaeus back into the extra deck.
Whilst triggering the shirt, he has, I think I just saw another ritual spell in his hand.
Is it Mirror? Because if he has the Mirror too, that's just...
He might be...
That's just
this
madness.
might be a repeat of last year, where it's just a one-turn kill.
He's got the
which knocks
Trishula.
Shinsuke out of the tournament.
Does he have Mirror? The only thing that makes the suspense worse is the shuffling.
Yes, it does. I sort of sat here like leaning forward closer and closer to
Yeah,
the screen.
if you're not on the edge of your seat, you're missing out. That's the best seat in the house.
Is the effect being used?
Activates Brionic.
Oh, he's got a Imperial Iron Wall face down.
Ooh, Tellarnova Alpha. That'll take out Brionic and draw him a card. That Imperial Iron Wall, that's a tricky one.
That's going to cancel out the...
It'll cancel out the Mirror entirely. Or at least force Galileo to make a poor play with the remaining cards in hand. So, Tellarknight Ptolemaeus is in the graveyard, but it has done its duty and taken Brionic back down with it, courtesy of Stellar Nova Alpha.
2 cards in hand. He goes for the attacks. He's not going to go for the Trish play.
So the cool thing with Stellar Nova Alpha, you know, you have your supernova, everything explodes, but the new dust, everything sent out from that can create a new star. So negate something, draw something.
More lore lessons. Do you go for the rank 4 play here, or do you leave your Unicorn out?
I think you leave the Unicorn out,
It's
because
the
that'll stop Shinsuke's rank 4 plays from doing anything useful. Galileo sets a card. Shinsuke's up.
Okay, perhaps it wasn't a Ritual Mirror that he had in his hand then. I'm almost certain it was a spell card there.
Altair, summoned. Bringing back Deneb.
Right, sorry, is that Forbidden Chalice? Yes, it is.
Altair goes up to 2100, not quite enough to beat Unicorn, and there's no Skybridge this time. Attacks Manju. Is Shinsuke going to set both of his cards here?
Adds 2 more to the back row.
He does add 2 more. What does he have in the way of attack stopping? Well, Fiendish Chain. He's got Ring of Destruction that could take out the Unicorn, but it'll also leave him at a very precarious 2,000 life points.
But we do know that Galio has a Necros of the Trishula, I think, and that's one unknown card. So his sequence of plays are incredibly limited.
Attacks.
Goes through. It's another 600 damage. It won't take a lot for Shinsuke to get back into this game. That's the thing, that those Unicorn, those slight jabs from the Unicorn are not going to be enough unless Shinsuke misses this turn and doesn't draw anything.
Necro's Mirror is activated.
Hold on.
Says stop. I've got Imperial Iron Wall.
Yep.
And now Galio is forced to reveal his hand to see if he can summon or not. So can't banish from the graveyard. Has to summon if possible.
Clauseless
And Trishula. Nope, none of that makes 9 or 3. And at the end phase, Shinsuke has the...
He now has perfect information to go through with this.
Gets the Deneb. Now he can draw the Trishula out if he's got like a targeting card, a Fiendish Chain, something like that. And this is all happening on Galileo's end phase. So he'll get the card he's searching out of his deck, and then he'll get to draw a card that definitely won't be the one that he searched.
And
it's Rigel. That's one reason why you put Rigel in your deck, because it can overpower Necros of Unicorn. First time we're seeing Rigel put in any work this weekend.
first time I think I've ever seen Rigel put in work, if I'm honest. But if it's going to be on the World Championship stage, then
Yeah, I mean,
that's pretty good.
heroes show up late, I guess.
Yeah.
Game 3 of the finals.
It's that time I saw Trifortrops being used in, I think, the top 4 match of Vegas.
Yes,
2 years ago.
Trifortress Stop. That was great.
I sat there, I was like, yes!
All right, he draws and picks up the Rigel. He's going to be able to get a ton of damage through here.
He's got perfect information. Galio's a sitting duck.
Rigel targets itself, 2400 attack. Everything turns vertically. And first, Rigel at 24 attack attacks into Unicorn. Galileo asks for the translation of Rigel, which I don't blame him for, because that is not a card you really see
Yep.
in Tellarknight decks anywhere.
It's probably like, are you sure that's just not a Dean up with the wrong art?
Checks it out on the official card database.
Yep.
It is at 2400. That's 100 plus 17 plus 15, 3300 total. And Galileo is down to 4000, and now we're getting close to TV show rules.
Yeah. We're going to see a free material XC,
That'll almost certainly be Triver.
and that's going to take one of the 2 cards away from Galio. What can Galio draw to get him out of this situation?
Yeah, this is really tough,
This-
especially with Triver in
He's
defense
now
position.
facing the end of his tournament. His options are down. The Imperial Iron Wall is going to be reset, so he's still not out of that.
If he could get a Mystical Space Typhoon and...
The Clauseless would be in the discarded card, so that's huge.
Yeah, he'd have to get a Typhoon, hit that Iron Wall, get a mirror, and then banish Shuret for the mirror to get Trishula.
And Shinsuke has
But
no cards
Shinsuke
in
has
hand.
no cards in hand, does he?
No, so he'd have to just then beat over it. I think.
Yeah, well, he can't even play the mirror if that's the case. Oh, no, yeah, Mystical Space Typhoon, yeah, he'd be able to play the mirror. That's rough.
This could be it for Galio. He's found out his graveyard. We know he doesn't have a Unicorn. He can't access any of his mirrors.
Preparation of Rites, that'd be pretty good.
Preparations of Rights would be a good time to draw that. That'll allow him to... Okay, it's Manju.
He's got Manju.
Warning.
Manju gets warninged. Shinsuke down to 1700. but Shinsuke has no way to press any damage through.
Yes,
And
he does.
in the end,
That's
or rather,
that's
Galileo has no way to press any damage through, but Shinsuke does.
That's it.
21 and 15 is not enough.
Shinsuke is the world champion. He knows what that last card is in the hand. He's
Oh,
got
he's got to search for Deneb, yes.
he's got way more attack points than Galileo has life points. Galileo had a great run, but I'm afraid it's just going to fall short here. This is going to be like the fastest shuffle of your life, right? Your heart must be racing if you're Shinsuke.
I've watched enough Shinsuke's games to know that nothing goes particularly fast. He's always very methodical in everything he does, shuffling included.
Right, there it is. World champion 2015.
That's it.
Shinsuke.
Everything goes to attack position. Everything swings in, and Galileo Deobaldi is defeated in the finals. He is now the only player in Yu-Gi-Oh! History to come in first, second, and third at the World Championship.
And Shinsuke Hiyama is going to be going to his third consecutive
Third consecutive World Championship.
And that's like the first as well.
After coming in second last year, which must have been absolutely devastating, especially the way that it happened at the hands of the Infernity OTK deck, to come back this year, be invited back this year, and win and become the world champion is a massive accomplishment. So, from all of us here, we'd like to congratulate all of our players
Yeah.
for this tournament. It was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
All of our Dragon Duels, all of our all-age duelists, our top 8, and especially Galileo and Shunsuke for showing us a fantastic finals match. That was a really good match. But in the end, Shinsuke Hiyama of Japan is your 2015 Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading Card Game World Champion. I'm Jerome McHale. He's Matt Bell. Thank you for watching us, and have a great night.
Enjoy yourself, guys. Take care.